This was in the Tallac Resort's dining room, and it was moved over to the Riker's house because that was going to be nicely in Sis's house, right? So it got a lot of furniture from the old resort. But then when the Rikers bought it, they bought it ship, lock, and everything. So this was piano. We're talking probably, I think the dating, we've had somebody give us on it, about 1878, called a square grand piano. It's very unusual. When it has to be tuned, the tuners we've had out here have said it needs almost nothing. The person that owned it before us, she almost never had to tune it. It is unbelievable. It's age built to last. So when the person who gave us this from the original Nicely house out at Fallen Leaf Lake, stepmother loved it to the point that when they left the house out at Fallen Leaf Lake, this was moved to the family ranch and was continued to be played by that family. When that lady had to move to a skilled nursing facility, they moved the piano to the skilled nursing because her comment was, we have to come to dinner at 6 o'clock. That's cocktail hour. That's not a dining hour. So she would sit down at this piano with a cocktail and she would play through all of the dinner for the residents in the skilled nursing home. When she passed away, her family brought it to us. The Baldwin family never knew that Anita and family had been up here at Lake Tahoe. They live in Southern California. The Baldwin relatives that were in, this was about 10 years ago. One of the great-granddaughters came with her children and husband. We gave them a tour of this place, and then I brought them over to the piano and said, do you realize this piano came from the old resort? The lady that came, 2 children, were starting their piano lessons. So we've had the great-great-grandchildren of Anita Baldwin sit down and they videotape them playing at this piano. We have set it up because we want people to see it, but they do encourage somebody, if you know how to play it well, take the plastic off the keyboard and sit down and play it. And we also have on it, a piece of music called It's Springtime in Lake Tahoe. Anita Baldwin published over 70 pieces of music. She was very much into music. But again, you look, this is a typical 30s type of kitchen. And that was, like I say, what Dextra had, not what Anita had, or Anita put in her cabins that she built for these other people. She went back because she wanted to use the old hotel stuff. We're talking most of that stuff starts looking turn of the century. The wood-burning stove from Lucky Baldwin's cottage. And this again was in the Nicely cottage when it was bought. So it is donated to us by the later residents of that house. So this is original to, again, we don't know where before Lucky Baldwin's place, but definitely 1900s. This icebox is the original icebox. This particular window is made so that they could load the back of it and get into it and actually bring ice in that way. So this is original, early 40s. Dexter was aging and not coming as often, and Anita had died by then. Mr. Nicely was in charge of everything that Anita owned at that point. He came to Dextra along with Baldwin, Dexter's brother, and convinced her that the only way these houses were going to be saved is if they sold them as a group. And so Dextra decided that she would move back to Southern California and leave this house. It's almost identical to her fireplace. You will see from my other pictures, she had a big buffalo head on her fireplace, just like over and there was no mantle at that point. It was actually baskets hung on hers. And one of the things I love is this light fixture. This is very typical of how Anita covered her lighting fixtures in her own home. So one of the things that Linda Cole did is she had someone mock one up. So this is done just for this as a museum. It was not part of the original house here. This little character, John and I went down to Placerville, and this lady said, I want to give this to the site. It's one of the original first RCA Victrolas. And this is very special to me because, again, somebody giving up something they loved and they wanted to have it kept in a place people could see it. It was actually, as Lucky always said, the love of his life. That was Anita's mother. But Anita's mother died when she was 3 years old. And so she became the very important inheritor of everything that followed her father. And she loved her father.